I am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know the game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick-Nick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick-Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
That Sports for the best authentic sportswear. You check Wilton Sports when you want the best authentic sportswear. Wilton Sports. Food change advertise fee. And for roll out the numbers. Remember, no easy laugh, no off.
Some sports were for take notes. Them full of dreams and hopes. Then why them come and sell rope? When there is only one, yeah, there is only one goat. And that's a Wilson, yeah, that's a Wilson, yeah, that's a Wilson Sports. Yeah, ball boots, ball tops, ball shots, string yard, ball socks. Them kind of drip you quick for make your ex call back. Little quickness in my boots and ball out, me want that. My Nike ticky pretty and my Adidas all black. Dribble down you feel it, grip me feel me can't drop. Slide tackle all my own a team and know this not pop. Why? Because I'm buy the supper.
All right, greetings and welcome to the platform. Good night. I am Man and welcome to I Am Sure Sports. We're off to a very late start and we have edited our thumbnail from what you'd have seen earlier because we have some new things that we want to be dealing with that came up today. We're going to try to get some of the guests who should have been on to discuss the NFL, but there were many breaking stories in the land of football today. Some of them you may have heard, but we're going to take a deeper look at them tonight on the platform. Again, this is I Am Sure Sports. I am your host, Man, and it's always my pleasure to have you with me on the platform. As usual, we ask you to do some very basic things at the beginning of the show. Number one, we ask you to make sure that you hit the like button. Also, it would be nice if you'd subscribe if you're not a subscriber and just share the content with someone else. So maybe someone is looking for something to do at this time of the night, and if you share the content of the show with them, they would join right now and be a part of this intriguing and inspiring podcast. All right, so we have lots to cover. We're going to be previewing the Super Bowl, right? Yeah, we're going to talk about what I call a fake under 20 team that was named today, and I'm going to give you reasons for that. We are going to also discuss the senior girls game. Mr. Speed spoke about that recently. Look at some of the persons who have been called up to that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the fact that a schoolgirl football competition, it's a schoolgirl football competition came up, and there's no fanfare, there's nothing. It's almost like it approached like a thief in the night. And I'm wondering if that is because there is not much priority given to female football. Would have heard as well, kind of find it strange that sometimes like the JPL, I think most of the coverage of the JPL, like the popularity, the pushing of it is normally done through a lot of the social media platforms, including myself, Military Guna, people like Unseen, Coach Minzy, even Ryan LFC, JT. Most of the vloggers push the JPL, right? They do a lot concerning the JPL. And what I find is that sometimes I don't like the way that they deal with the breaking information as it relates to the JPL show. I think a greater level of credence should be given to the podcasters. I think like today they had some breaking news and they were on a particular station. I think before they do those things, they should, go to the broadcasters firstly, or they come on these platforms and share them. That is my absolute firm belief, because those platforms sometimes don't do as much for the JPL as the vloggers do on a whole. All right. So yeah, but we did have a little bit of detail, but I think the official launching of that, so we're going to try tomorrow to get the man who is at the helm of that on the program to discuss it even more. As usual, when you hear that wonderful sound, it's time for you to make your phone calls. At that time, it's around the 30-minute mark. You can, call in at that time and share your views and your thoughts with us. All right, big up. To all the persons out there, Fresh God Gunners Boss, the press. I see Crazy Yardy TV. Bless up yourself, you understand me? Ricky Teng, I saw Ricky Teng. Ernest Murray, bless up yourself as well. You understand me? Blessings to you. Blessing to Mark Gaza. Let's see. I mean, we're trying to see how things are going to pan out later. Let's see who is going to come on. We have some very interesting character who should be on the show tonight to kind of give us the scoop on what is happening in the NFL. That should be a very interesting discussion that we're going to have. So stay tuned, stick and stay. You understand me? Because around here, and I am sure sports, when we get down to business, we don't play. All right, we're going to try and circle around to find out what is going on with the selection of this present team. So let's see what is going to happen, because what we see, and I am sure sports, come hell or high water, the show must go on. We're going to be 2 hours. So make sure, like I said, you get on, because you have only 2 hours, right? And if you miss those 2 hours, unfortunately, you will miss the show. You understand me? Yeah, you don't want to miss the 2 hours. And listen, don't come with your vexation. And we're going to talk about a social issue, before we get into this. But some of the people, you have every little thing get offended like you're a girl, man. Every little thing you take offense to, you're just like acting like a girl. Stop being so thin-skinned, man. Every little thing is a bother to you. Like everything bother you. You know what I mean? We don't want any thin-skinned men around here. You understand me? Yeah, too thin-skinned. Everything you get offended, everything you up in your feelings. Get out your feelings, man, and be a real man. You understand me? Real man. Man who stand up for what is right, man. Real men. All right, so, people, you saw some of the destruction across Jamaica as it relates to the piers, Pier 1 in Montego Bay, down Negril, suffered some damages as well. Also, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios and thing, and people saying, oh, it's a sign from God and all of that. And maybe it is indeed, we need to check and look at what is happening. But outside of that, there's something I want to bring across to you people. I want you to, so I'm going to bring out this because we are not just here to talk sports. We are here to also discuss the things that are pertinent across our nation. All right. So I was made privy to some information. All right. There's a particular establishment, a supermarket in the Ocho Rios area. All right. They were recently they got closed down by the health department, and these are this is the information that is out there. They were shut down by the health department because they had lots of rats. Where they are, it is sort of it is prone to that kind of activity. All right. Meaning it is very easy for there to be rat infestation because of the particular location of this establishment. All right, bam. So that is not a negative, because those things happen and we understand sometimes even with the best effort you can have those things. All right. So health inspectors were brought in, and you know what happened? The establishment the establishment was shut down like on the Friday going into the Friday, right? Shut down. And then on the Sunday, the supermarket was reopened. And word on the street is that was a direct call. That was in a direct conversation with the leadership of the country, sort of, to give directive, and this is what the allegations are, that higher ups called and said, whatever was done to shut it down, this place must be reopened, and the place was reopened on the Sunday. Now, while I understand, what is politically expedient in our country, I understand those things. Listen, the welfare of people is important, and I think this is the issue we have, because I have also been privy to smaller establishments operated by local Jamaicans that operate restaurants where the infestation when it comes on to rats has not been as plentiful. I'm talking about people said that there were rats in there big like dogs running up and down and thing. All right. And here's the thing. There have been other establishments in the said parish that had not so many rats, are not major infestation of rats and insects or whatever. And they were shut down for a very long period of time and had to pass several tests before they were reopened. And I think the same standard must be held, and not because of people's political affiliations, or not because of people's amount of money that they have. In fact, the more money they have and the higher up they are in society, I believe the more strident the measure should be that are taken out against them. That is my thing. I think if you have the resources to defend, protect, to keep, and to preserve things, and you're not doing it, then the penalties for you ought to be greater than the man who is without resources. And so I want to put that out there, because sometimes it is the people that have to make a move. So if you know that this place or that place should not be operating, then here's what you have to do. You have to stop going there, boycott it, and let others do likewise, because here is the issue. We can't wait on a government to stand for us. You can't wait on the forces and the powers that be to stand for you. You have to stand up for something. You understand me? So on these matters, I think the onus is on the people, the population, to make a decision as to what they are going to do. You understand? And we, as a people, don't be influenced by the financial resources of people. We must take steps of upward morality and do what is ethically and morally right, no matter the cost. That's the kind of leadership we want. That's the kind of leadership we want. You understand me? That is the kind of leadership we want. Yeah. So, hey, preacher, but I send you the link long. Me send you the link long time, you know, but let me send it to you again still. But me know me send it to you a long time, you know. See, you get it already, you know. I'm going to send it again. A second time now, me I send it, you know. All right. So, before we have the preacher on. All right. So, earlier today, well, yesterday, you'd have heard about U20 team, right? That was called up for a 1 day, and many people were saying, who are these players being called up to an under 20 team? So let me break it down to you. So a couple of things happened, you know. Players were called to this under 20 training camp. All right. Let me see if I have the names here, right? Akeem Bernard, Tywayne Lynch, Michael Forbes, Ronaldo Barrett, Brian Burkett, Denzel McKenzie. Let me put that up. You know, in fact, what I will do, I'm going to put it up for you, and then I'm going to tell you what is going on, right? Where this is concerned. So, because I think the communication was not clear on this, and therefore many persons misunderstood what was happening. So I'm going to bring clarity to it, you know. All right. I am going to bring some clarity to this matter. This matter needs to be clarified. Let me tell you again. This matter, where is Demo and Man of Steel? Me need them for something. I have a cricket thing I need to ask them about, you know. All right. So let me put it up. So I want you to look at it, because many people don't read what they see, you know. They just assume what is there. Let me say it again. Many people don't read what is in front of them. They assume what is there. So here we go. It says U20 players invited to coaching school training session. Look at it again. It says U20 players invited to coaching school training session. Let's read it one more time. U20 players invited to coaching school training session. All right. What do you get from that? What do you get from that? Number one, here's one of the things you get. This was not John Wall, because this is for the coaching school. That's number one. Number two, observation. Number one, this was not John Wall, because this is the coaching school. Hey, number two, John Wall is not here, so it could not be John Wall. All right. Number three, I want to get this. This is not the Jamaica U20 training camp, because it's clearly saying it is not. So, anyone who read this, let me make it bigger, and believe that these are U20 players, or if when these players were called, they were of the impression that they're a part, or they will be a part of the U20 team, it is not the case. Maybe some will be, you know, but this squad was not a Jamaica U20 trial or training session. Anton Carneal and coaches from across the Caribbean were in Jamaica. And so they brought in these under 20 players so that they could go through the coaching school qualification, or for the people to get their licensing, or to up whatever it is. All right? Do you understand? So this was not the Jamaica U20 team preparing. Let me say it again. This is not the Jamaica U20 team that is preparing. No way, Jose. This is not what this is. This is a group of players who were called in so that they can help the coaches to get their necessary qualification, or to bring them through the sessions that Anton Carneal was doing. Good, however, I believe that they use under 20 players. And I would want to believe that some of these players would be impressive enough that somebody could say, yeah, that one is good. However, Mr. John Wall is not in Jamaica. He's not in Jamaica. So you see why reading is, like I said, Fresh God, this is why reading is fundamental, because many people run with this list and ask questions about players being called up for the U20 team. This is not the U20 team. Oh, I don't see this player. Oh, what happened to this player? Tian Kope is in the team. I didn't know that. Akeem Bernard, where him come from now in this team? Oh, this player and that player, and Nicalia Fullan, Nikai Galen, all of these things, and Reese from Harborview, Leighton Murray, how these people just got in like that. Read what is there. I think sometimes we make assumptions, find and create questions that make no sense. Reading is indeed a fundamental, very fundamental. It is very, very necessary. Very necessary that you read to understand, and do not assume people what something is saying. Read what the thing is saying. Do you hear me? All right. So I had to deal with that. So it is not the U20 team that was in preparation. John Wall is not here. It is not the U20 team that was in preparation. Let me say it again. It was not the Jamaica U20 team that was in preparation. It was not. All right. All right. So that's important. I need to, when I see Demo and I see Man of Steel and Duckland, who used to play cricket, check your phone, Garvey, man. All right. So check your phone, Garvey. But watch this now. Next important thing. So so Mr. Speed was on the program recently, right? And he spoke about a game that Jamaica will be playing against South American opponent. He didn't want to announce it. I think it is because like he said, it is not his portfolio. And a day after that, the squad is out, the players are out. List of players. All right. So let's get it, the list of players, and we're gonna go through this again. Oh my Lord. I don't know, It's a friendly, but I all right. So let's look at the list of players. People, you see, sometimes, man, sometimes we can make this whole football thing a problem now. All right. We have some of our guests slowly popping onto the scene. We're gonna get into some NFL. We have a 49er supporter, and we have a Kansas City Chiefs supporter here. You understand me? Man is neutral because I support Patrick Mahomes, so I remain neutral in all of this. You understand me? Because I think I told him long time that Patrick Mahomes will finish his career as one of the best quarterbacks that ever play in the NFL. But I don't have a horse in this race. You understand me? I just support Patrick Mahomes. You understand me? But I don't pick a team. So we have with us tonight, we have Preacher. We're gonna get back to the Reggae Girl squad that has been named, but I want to give these men enough time to speak. We have the man, you'd have heard him many times on talk show radio in Jamaica. They call him Garvey. Tall. Hear that he's close to 7 feet tall. Wondering what he's doing in Jamaica. He should be in the NBA, playing some basketball, playing some center or something like that. But maybe he's past the age. But we also have Preacher. You understand me? If you ever heard about the Star Project in Jamaica, he's very instrumental in that, working in several inner city communities. Should have been here on Sunday, but wasn't feeling so well. You understand me? So, yep. But he has fully recovered. Wearing the wrong shirt, But
Yeah, wrong shirt.
we're wearing the wrong shirt. I don't know why a Jamaican wearing an Argentinian shirt. You understand me? Even though say reggae boys, it, You understand me? Leon Bailey is our Messi. All right. But man, welcome to the show. Hope you have you had a wonderful day. And preacher, Garvey, you came on first, so why don't you begin and talk to the people and then throw it over to preacher. Listen, here's how the show works now. You see, anytime you hear that sound, it means that you have to ease, and so that you understand me. When you make a good point, you'll hear that. You understand me? All right. That means you make a good point. If you hear the whistle, it means that I be a garbage you're talking. You understand me? So no.
Blue card. The whistle mean blue card.
Yeah. You got another sin bin. We need to talk about that today. I don't know what football getting into. Man, them have blue card and thing. Oh my Lord. I guess because of Arteta celebration. But go ahead, Garvey, what say you?
It's good to be here, man. It's good to be here, Take a look at the Super Bowl here. Super Bowl 59 will be in Vegas, in City, featuring the AFC champs, the Lamar Trophy holders, Kansas City Chiefs, defending champs from last year, and the San Francisco 49ers, the George Halas Trophy holders. They unfortunately got knocked out in the NFC Championship game last year, not due to their play really, but due to the fact that their quarterback got hurt. So kind of good to see them back in this game because I thought they probably would have had a good chance to beat the Eagles last time. We'll see.
We'll see. Preacher?
I think Preacher is off screen there. Oh, yeah, here he is.
Oh, you're muted. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, man. Evening to your viewers. Big up yourself, Garvey. I think the Super Bowl is going to be an exciting one. The NFL could not ask actually for a better matchup. When you're talking about the style of play, when you're talking about the face of the league in Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs are about creating a dynasty. They're really about redoing what the Patriots would have done under the Belichick-Brady era. And we know that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, perhaps the best player in the league, even though he may not be the MVP this season. But then you have a Brock Purdy on the other side of the 49ers, a young man who was the last player in the draft, a young man who, a lot of people probably wouldn't be talking about normally, but he has found himself in a situation where he can start to create a path, much like Tom Brady, of being, somebody who was not considered, and then you find yourself in a good situation. Coach Shanahan had the unfortunate experience of coaching on a team that was supposed to have won the Super Bowl, the Atlanta Falcons. They were, damaging the Patriots, just refused to run the football and allow the Patriots back into that Super Bowl. And, the rest is history, the legend of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. So the 49ers, I think, coming into this one, pretty excited about the opportunity. They lost in a Super Bowl to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. At the time, there was Jimmy Garoppolo as their QB. This time around, they have a Brock Purdy who's up and coming. So it's going to be an exciting Super Bowl, and we all are looking forward to it.
Yeah. Gavin, what are the key matchups for you? You think in the Super Bowl, is a matter of coaches? Is a matter of specific players? It's a matter of how the offenses play, the defenses, or special teams. What are the key areas that you think will make the difference for either team or for both teams?
All right. Well, I mean, before I even get into the players that will be on the field, I think the most important thing would be the game plan of both teams coming into the game. I think Kansas City possesses the ability to be more versatile in their play calling because obviously they have Mahomes at quarterback, so you can't really predict if on that first drive Andy's going to lean on the run or he's going to go to the pass play immediately. But based on what has happened in this playoffs, he's been pretty much 50-50. I mean, kudos to him because I had called for that before the playoffs. So that will be interesting to see. I think on the other side for the 49ers, we can pretty much predict their game plan. It's either going to be running the ball with Christian or the short passing game with Christian. So I think from a Kansas City defensive standpoint, pretty much Christian will have an X on his chest all day.
Yeah, same question for you, Preacher. What say you? How you think the different matchups,
Well,
just offense, defense, special teams, particular players, coaching, where you think the key areas that will make a difference to either team?
Well, I've often said that the NFL is the ultimate other dependent sport as a team sport, because you're talking about three different components of the game: special teams, offense, defense. I mean, we underestimate the value of special teams. Probably it really doesn't get as much attention in its influence over the outcome of a game. But I think going into the Super Bowl, if you look at the two teams, you're talking about two very good defensive units, right? Relatively good defensive units. The San Francisco 49ers, their weaknesses in terms of their defensive backs, there's a lot of gaps in terms of your ability to actually beat them in the air and to create big yardage plays, which is what Patrick Mahomes is known for. I mean, they can damage you down the field. They have had wide receivers dropping catches all season, but not in the playoffs. The Chiefs have found their rhythm in the playoffs. They have been doing some of the things that they do well in the playoffs. And that's the area of weakness that I'm concerned about for the San Francisco 49ers, their pass defense. On the other side of it, I mean, Isaiah Pacheco and his ability to establish the run early, to give Kansas City that dynamism that they will need in order to keep that defense honest as well, and limit the pass rush, because they can get to Patrick Mahomes. That front four, front five of San Francisco, they have the ability to get to quarterbacks. On the offensive side for the San Francisco 49ers, and Gavi alluded to it, Christian McCaffrey is the linchpin of that offense, and Deebo Samuels as well in terms of that short passing game. What we call the yard after catch is something that San Francisco has thrived on this season, with guys like Deebo Samuels and George Kittle, their tight end. They have Brandon Ayuk in the wide receiver position, and he's come up with some big plays. One of the things that I'm expecting Brock Purdy to do, because he will get the opportunity to do it, and if he does it, it might actually be the difference maker, is use his legs. If you watch the Chiefs, the Chiefs kind of closes the pocket very, very quick. The defense plays very tight coverage, but quarterbacks do get some time behind there. And if you can use your legs and capitalize on those moments, then I think Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers could have some success there. So those are some of the things I'll be looking for in this game.
Yeah, no, Garvey, I know that you are a Kansas City Chief. So I don't know if Kansas City, but at least Patrick Mahomes, right? He's going up against, you would say, inexperienced quarterback. But we know as important as a quarterback is, like you have just outlined, there are other components of the game, how he will be able to deal with the rush and, his defensive protection, how much time he'll have in the pocket and all of that kind of a thing. If it were left down to the quarterbacks, do you believe that a young Purdy would have what it takes? If it is, the result is going to be determined by the quarterback play, would you give the edge to Purdy? Or would you say, like, there's no way, if it's down to quarterback, that Mahomes will not come out on top? Or have you seen anything from Purdy to say, you know what, I believe that if he has a good game and Mahomes just don't play at his best, this guy could actually lead the 49ers. What is your take on that?
Well, as they say, man is man, the best indication of future behavior will be past behavior. So based on what I've seen from Purdy in his short career so far, it all depends on how the 49ers run game, how effective the 49ers run game, and as Preacher alluded to their short passing game, because their short passing game, as he alluded to with Devo and Christian, is an extension of the run game. Even though it's a pass play, it's really an extension because they're either catching the ball at or behind the line of scrimmage. So it's really an extension of the run play. So it depends how effective the running game will be. I think the key for 49ers will definitely be staying ahead in the down, because it's really hard for me to envision Brock Purdy completing a lot of 3rd and 9s and 3rd and 8s against this Chief secondary, which has, I think L'Jarius Sneed has not given up a touchdown all year. And Trent McDuffie, he's ranked like 3rd or 4th in cornerback rating. So, it's going to be really tough if you ask him. Even though he has a lot of weapons, I give him that. He does have a lot of weapons. And so that will help him. One good piece of news for Mr. Purdy, though, is that Charles Omenihu, who was the Chiefs' big-time free agent defensive end signing, he suffered an ACL injury in the AFC Championship. So he's out for the Super Bowl, and he's been playing lights out. He's the one that caused the sack fumble on Lamar Jackson. So I'm sure that's going to be a big missing piece for the Chiefs. It actually has me kind of worried because I was kind of looking forward to seeing him play the Super Bowl, So that's good news for Mr. Purdy.
Yeah. Let me ask Richard this, because I feel like this time around, Kansas City has just eked by. You feel like they could have lost against the Bills. You feel like maybe the Ravens could have nicked them. You just feel like it's just all of these could have happened to them, but they end up coming out. Are they not as formidable as before? Are they missing some key pieces? Are they too reliant on Mahomes and the Mahomes Kelsey kind of combination? Are that's just the way, and they're going to find a way to get it done?
Wow. Different seasons require different things. That's the nature of professional sports. This season, the Kansas City Chiefs defense as a unit has been the most consistent part of the football team. Talking about a defense that's giving up somewhere between 15 to 16 points per game all season. So when your defense is playing that well in terms of limiting the opponents, and you are having struggles on the offensive side of the football with drop catches, Mahomes has not had the kind of explosive season that we're used to, and that's fine. That's okay, because the older you get, the longer you play, the less your athleticism is going to show. It's going to be more now cerebral. It's going to be now you're using your brain. You're thinking the game now. I wouldn't say that the Chiefs looked like they were going to be beaten at any time versus the Ravens, to be honest. The Ravens looked shell-shocked. The Ravens did not look like a number 1 seed playing at home in an AFC Championship game. The Chiefs came out early and they established themselves offensively. They got points on the board. They put the Ravens under pressure, and the defense played lights out. Garvey mentioned L'Jarius Sneed. I think L'Jarius Sneed made the play of the NFL season, if you ask me, when he came out of nowhere and forced a turnover on the 1 yard line, on the goal line, that would have probably changed the momentum of the game. So I think this season the Chiefs actually figured out another way to beat people. They actually figured out another way
by good defense.
By limiting people scoring, and by allowing for Mahomes and a struggling offense to find themselves at the right time, which is going into the playoffs. Previously, Mahomes Kelsey offense was carrying the team. This is the best defense that Patrick Mahomes has played with his entire career. And that gives credence to the coaching staff and what they've been doing in Kansas City, the kind of recruitment, decisions they're making on both sides of the football.
Yo, what say you, Garvey? I mean, what do you think? I mean, where that is concerned, have they been just eking out the score, or it is just the defense has been so solid they have not needed to score the 40? Because I'm used to Kansas City scoring a lot of 40s and 30s, and up in the high 20s. But like I said, a lot of these games this season, it's just like they win, and like I said, on good defense. Is it similar that they have to win with good defense and not just not reliant upon scoring 40? Will they be able to score that amount of points against a 49ers defense?
Well, I mean, there's no question, as Preacher said earlier, that this Chiefs defense management is the best defense that they have had in the whole entire Patrick Mahomes era. This is the first time he's played with a top 5 defense, and he deserves it. I tell you why he deserves it, man. The 2 Super Bowl championships that he has won, those 2 defenses are the 2 weakest defenses that have ever won a Super Bowl. Let me explain to you. They allowed the highest points per game in the playoffs of any Super Bowl champions in history. So this is the first time where he's actually getting real help from a defense on a Super Bowl run. So what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think he deserves a easier part. However, I think a lot of people have been unfair to the Chiefs offense in the playoffs. Let me explain to you why. In the first game, they scored 26 against Miami. And in the second game, they scored 27 against Buffalo.
Yeah.
It is the first time all season that they scored as much as 26 points in back-to-back games. Did you know that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have not been scoring a lot
Right.
of points
So,
this season.
so they did better in those 2 games than they did at any point in the regular season. And also, if you consider against the Bills, I know a lot of people say they could have lost that game, but if you actually watch that game, at no point did you feel like the Chiefs were not in control of that game. The whole momentum and flow of the game. As a matter of fact, I think the Bills played a little bit scared of the Chiefs. Why I said that? Because they had no big plays. They had not one single play of 20 yards for the whole game. 19 of Josh Allen's completions were at or behind the line of scrimmage. He only completed 2 passes 5 yards or more down the field. So they had even though they had the ball almost twice as long as the Chiefs. So from a game plan standpoint, you could see that the coaches did not trust Josh with throwing the ball long. And when they had to do it at the end of the game, I think that's what caused the misconnections with the wide receivers. Because if you're not practicing something, you're not going to have that type of rhythm. I mean, you can't just throw the ball short all game and then expect that at the end of the game, you're going to just throw it long and just be successful. That's not how the NFL works. It's a rhythm game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think people have undersold the Chiefs' offensive performance in the playoffs. In the Ravens game, as Preacher said, at no point did I feel as a Chiefs fan like they were in any danger of losing. I think what happened in that game, man, was that they went up so early, and being up 2 scores and seeing the flow of the game, I think Patrick in his mind told himself that, hey, listen, if I see a 70-30 play or a 60-40 play, I'm not going to force the ball in certain areas, only if I have to. And that was demonstrated on the last drive, the only point in the second half where they really had to complete a pass to win the game. You saw what he did on 3rd and 9. So I think that if they were in danger of losing or the game was tied, some of those 60-40 throws he would have attempted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I see Rob Smith was responding to an earlier comment you made. He said that, and he's a 49ers fan. He says, we don't give up big plays. Our weakness in the playoffs has been the run. Pass defense has been solid. So he's a...
Rob was responding to a comment I made about the secondary, the 49ers secondary. And I think that's perhaps one of their weakest areas on their defense. And he may be correct in terms of the playoffs. And they played against the Green Bay Packers and they played against the Lions. And the truth is, against the Packers established the run very early in that game. The Packers were able to get Aaron Jones going, and that helped the Packers significantly on the offensive side. And against the Lions, that twin-headed running game that the Lions had, did give the Niners problems early, but it doesn't take away from the fact that all season long, going into the playoffs, an area of weakness, Rob, that the 49ers had was their secondary. The fact that the pass rush has been able to limit the time quarterbacks have had in terms of possession has helped that. But I do fear that going into the Super Bowl, if the pass rush is unable to get to Patrick Mahomes, who has been very protected by his defensive line, you might see a Patrick Mahomes that actually blows up your secondary. Guys like Marcus Valdez Scantling and all these guys that have been dropping passes, they have been making big catches when it matters in the playoffs. And I fear that the San Francisco 49ers may experience some of that going into this game. But I agree with you in terms of the run over the two games you've played in the playoffs. You have struggled with your run defense. I do agree with that.
Yeah. I think this one is for you, Gary. Says they only scored 17 points. Don't think they found their footing, yeah? This is he's talking about the Kansas City. Says they are not good enough on the outside. Chief only scored 17 points in AFC Championship game.
Hey, listen, it's a fair comment if somebody tell me that the Chiefs don't have a lot of wide receiver on the outside. I mean, a blind man could see that. Basically what Mahomes has done in these playoffs is that he has stripped the offense down and he's just concentrated on throwing the ball to Kelsey, Rife, and Pacheco out the backfield. And then every now and then he's sprinkling a pass to MVS or a Noah Gray or a guy like that. But that's being smart and knowing what you have. So if somebody says to me that, yeah, we don't have the best wide receivers, I could not argue that. However, in a game like this, you see, the thing about this game, management, the first thing that San Francisco still has to guard against, they have to say to themselves, listen, we can't afford to let Mahomes throw the ball over our head. So they're not going to put two safeties in the box to stop the run game. More than likely, they're going to play a too high shelf with no safeties in the box. So the key is for Pacheco. And the thing about Pacheco is, even though a lot of people give Purdy credit for being the last pick in the draft, a lot of people don't realize Pacheco is the 7th to last pick in the draft. So he's almost the last pick in the draft, just like Purdy. And the ironic thing is both of them have a very good chance to be Super Bowl MVP right here. So the key is for the Chiefs, they have to exploit that light box. With the 7 guys in the box, they have to be able to establish the run game. And I think once they do that, the Niners know, based on the fact that they haven't been great against the run, they're going to have to creep one of those safeties down. And then that will give Mahomes a chance to create some passing lanes, even though you don't have the big horses on the outside. When you have a light secondary with a quarterback like that, he could create big plays,
Yeah. Chiefs secondary been great, but Debo and Ayuk will make them look like Swiss cheese while Kyle calling the plays. This is Yadan Fresh. That.
I mean, there's an interesting stat about Brock Purdy that, like, since 2006, somewhere thereabouts, in terms of big yard plays, 30-yard plays. I mean, his QBR is he has the highest QBR. We're talking about the best who has played the position. We're talking about Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes, and those guys. But the thing is, the 49ers don't really require Brock Purdy to do a lot of big plays passing the ball down the field. They don't require it. It's not something that they need him to do very often. If Brock Purdy finds himself having to throw the football a lot in this game, then I fear for the 49ers, because it would tell you that they're either trailing in the game early and are going to have to get away a bit from their run game, or they have been unable to establish the run any at all. And that would not be good for the 49ers, because whenever Christian McCaffrey plays well and runs for over 80 yards, the San Francisco 49ers tend to win the game. So I wouldn't want to see a Brock Purdy throwing the ball 30 times in this game.
Not a good sign.
No, that would not be a good sign. for the 49ers. No.
I want him to throw it 40.
Okay, because they know that there'll be problems. But Rob was responding to you, and he says that's football. Win the line of scrimmage, win the game. And we have the best front seven in the game. So he's saying that the 49ers have the best front seven in the game. And what? On offense?
No, he's talking about defense. He's talking about defense.
Their defense.
The best front seven?
Well, somebody could say that the Ravens have the best front seven. Somebody could say the 49ers have the best front seven. I could say
the Chiefs. I could say the team on the other side of the field has the best front seven.
You know, it's debatable. The thing about the Niners in their last two games, they got exposed a bit, right?
Yeah, the Lions really. I think the Lions could have done a number on them, you know, because I was a little bit surprised that they came back.
Here's why I like the Chiefs D line more than the San Francisco D line.
Just continue. Give me a second.
Yeah. The same D line reason, preacher, because if you notice San Francisco's D line, preacher, all of them pressure primarily are come from the two edges, either Nick Bosa or Chase Young.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Chiefs, you can never tell where they're gonna get pressure on the quarterback. They get it on the interior, they get it on the outside, they get it all over.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let me ask you a question, preacher. I'm gonna ask you this question. Have you ever seen a team on Christmas Day, the Chiefs lost at home to the Raiders, right? It was their worst loss of the season. Have you ever seen a team look that bad, that late in the season, and then turn it on to this extent in the playoffs?
I mean, just in terms of jogging my memory, in a single game, I can't recall. I know that, for example, the Giants, when they went on their run with Eli, they were not that great. They didn't look that good as a team in the regular season. And then defensively, they got really hot in the playoffs, and Eli and the offense also found a rhythm. I know also that, like, in 2010, when the Packers went on that run, it wasn't that season that the Packers really stood out in terms of what they're doing, but they had a lot of good players on that team, right? And I think they won their last 2 or 3 games in the regular season, and then they got hot going into the playoffs. And so I know, like, when you have a squad that has really good players and people like Mahomes, Kelsey, who have been there and done that, they can actually have bad games and turn it around when it matters most, because they know what it takes to win. They know what it takes to do it. And so all season long, you see the Chiefs playing poorly in some games, and you're like, yo, the Chiefs don't look good. But the danger is, once the Chiefs get into the playoffs, if you don't knock them out in the early round, then you run the risk of the Chiefs being where they are right now in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Yeah.
So, preacher, now that we're here, it's red on the red, it's 49 red on Chiefs red, right?
Yeah.
If the 49ers win, who you think who on the 49ers career you think this helped most? Brock Purdy or the coach?
I think Shanahan. Because he has.
You think people will give Shanahan more credit than Purdy?
Yes. If the 49ers win, Shanahan gets more credit. Why? Because the entire system that has been built in San Francisco, which is a kind of West Coast 2.0, right? It is the modern day West Coast system, right?
Sure.
And that's a lot of his work. Okay.
Yeah.
So
is it his work or is daddy's work?
Well, it's daddy's work. It's daddy's work. Let's give his father the credit.
All right, so people, let me just persons, you can call in if you want to. The numbers are there. You can call in the 373. I said, do I chat to? Let me just read this comment. Would it be an upset, right? Let me just ask this. Would it be an upset if the 49ers were supposed to win? I see Gunners Boss saying, but I don't think it would be an upset if the 49ers win.
They are the favorites.
Really? I think it's 50-50.
Well,
the bookies have them as a 2.5 point favorite right now.
Yeah, the truth is, like, and I look at that and don't agree necessarily that the 49ers are the favorites. I think the fact that they were the number 1 seed coming out of the NFC, obviously they had a better record all season. They've played some better teams in terms of records and beaten them. But when you get to the Super Bowl, those things go out the window. Those things don't mean nothing. These are two obviously good teams, good enough to make it to the Super Bowl. And so I believe the Chiefs are going into the Super Bowl with an advantage. What is the advantage? The advantage is you have Andy Reid, you have Patrick Mahomes, and you have Travis Kelce, who have been there and done that. And when you have that, there's no way that your team is going to be an underdog going into a Super Bowl. I see Dwight saying he doesn't understand what I'm saying. Purdy had to make big plays in the playoffs for the 49ers. Why would you say it would be surprising if Purdy will be required to do much? No. What I'm saying is, if Purdy has to throw the ball 30 times for the 49ers to win, that spells trouble for the 49ers.
That's not the ideal game plan.
That's not the way the 49ers are built to play. The big plays that Purdy has had to make is because they were trailing the Lions in a game at home where the Lions themselves, because of poor coaching decisions, actually let the 49ers back into a situation that they should not have been in.
And turnovers, don't forget
turnovers. I mean, you give the defense some credit for some of that.
Yeah, but he continues and saying that you're relegating Purdy's role as a game changer, and that simply is not
no.
a game manager.
A game changer.
Manager. Sorry, manager.
But I said no such thing at the beginning of the program. I did say to you that one of the areas that Brock Purdy demonstrated that he has the ability to is use his legs. He used his legs effectively enough in the last game he played. And I'm saying there will be opportunities for Brock Purdy to use his legs in this game, right? And if he capitalizes on those, it will be advantageous to the 49ers. What you don't want Brock Purdy doing is throwing the ball. And the reason why you don't want him throwing the ball long in a Super Bowl is because that eliminates the impact of a Deebo Samuels, the impact of a Christian McCaffrey. These are the kind of players who can be game changers for you in that game. It doesn't.
Don't they have good wide receivers?
Brandon Ayuk is their standout wide receiver.
They're deep right.
They're deep threat in terms of their deep threat. But this is the thing, Shatu. Every quarterback in the NFL is a game manager. Every one of them.
Everyone.
They manage the game. That's their role. That's their first role. Based on the system of play that you have as a team, it will determine now whether your quarterback is going to be a pass first quarterback or is going to be a quarterback that allows for, run pass options to, be more critical to the game. The kind of running back you have will determine if you're going to be a run first offense or a pass first offense. And then the team you're playing against can influence how you choose to call a game. Now, if you're going to play against a Chiefs team that obviously has a very strong secondary, right, that has proven that they're not going to give up a lot of big plays, you don't want to put your quarterback in a position where he's forced to do that. Doesn't mean that he's only a game manager. It simply means that you're going to do what is best for the team based on the resources you have and based on the opponents you face. I can see Brock Purdy throwing the ball probably 20 times in this game, and they're running the ball about 25 times or 30 times. That balance, I think, would be more favorable for a 49ers team.
All right. We have Ricky Tang. Ricky Tang has joined the show. Look like him Ricky Dark, him disappear. Ricky Tang. Ricky Tang. Do you think the coaches will make a difference? Andy Reid, Mike Shannon, I mean, very experienced coaches. Like I said, this is the second time around. And we know what happened the first time. Kansas City won. I think Garoppolo was injured at that time.
He played the last game. He played the last Super Bowl.
He was in the last Super Bowl. But he's injured now. So you're right.
No, he's off the team. He's playing for a different team.
Right. So there you go. So now, whatever happened last season happened. We are here now. So this is the second time around. Are there any better now to knock off Kansas City?
Are they any better now?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say this Niners team is any better, but I would say offensively, the thing about the Chiefs that has changed from the last Super Bowl is offensively they are not as good, but defensively they are far better. The Niners pretty much have the same stars that they had the last Super Bowl. The only difference is now that they have Purdy at quarterback instead of Garoppolo, but they already had Debo, and they didn't have Christian McCaffrey, but they had a good running game and everything.
Yeah. Ricky Tay.
Oh man, let us welcome Any Given Sunday, Manning's man.
Oh, Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday. Him? Yeah.
That's me. You guys can hear me?
Yeah, man, we're hearing you.
Right?
Yeah, man.
All right, good.
You got a Chiefs logo on your chest, bro?
I'm wearing my Washington jersey, vintage.
Oh man.
I'm not allowed to call the name,
The Commanders.
No, I was a fan long before that.
That's the second man from Washington today. I had a friend from Washington called the sports desk today, Kevin. He's also a Redskin fan. You heard him?
Unfortunately, I didn't hear it. But apologies for just tuning in. I mean, just joining in. I was busy earlier.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. All right. So talk to us about. I mean, what are your thoughts on Sunday? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I expect a close game. I don't see either team being separated by more than a field goal. I really expect it to be a field goal type of game, just like last year. But I don't think it's going to be a lot of points. I think defense is going to be order of the day in this edition of the Super Bowl. I don't think either team is going to make 30 points. I see it more as a 23-20 type of game. I do give the edge to San Francisco because I think that they have more playmakers than Kansas City on the offensive side of the ball. I think defensively they're pretty much even. And one of the things that I find interesting is that a lot of people seem to be making an issue that the 49ers almost lost to the Lions. The Detroit Lions are a pretty good football team. I think we need to give them a lot of credit. And also, the Green Bay Packers really came on at the end of the season as well, And interestingly, fun fact about those two teams, they both beat the Kansas City Chiefs this season. So, I mean, the Lions and the Packers are not soft. They're quality squads. They definitely gave the 49ers a good run for the money.
Didn't Baltimore beat San Fran?
Yeah, I think Baltimore is the best team in the league. I just think that they didn't show up on the day. I mean, I know Garvey doesn't want to hear that, but I mean, I think that Baltimore pretty much, throw away that game. I mean, if they played their game, I mean, I don't think the Chiefs would have beat them, but I give the Chiefs credit. You have to give them the credit.
Baltimore does have the best squad in the league, but the Chiefs have the best player, my boy.
Well, it depends on who you think the best player in the league is. Definitely, it's not Patrick Mahomes this season. He's not even in the MVP conversation. So,
I like that.
So I mean, it all depends. I mean,
so let me ask you a question.
Sure.
All those years, Michael Jordan didn't win MVP. He was not the best player in the NBA.
Okay, so now we're switching sports now. A whole different thing.
All right, let me keep it to Tom Brady. Let me keep it to Tom Brady. When Tom Brady didn't win MVP, he was not the best quarterback?
No, not necessarily. Because you still had Peyton Manning there, didn't you? Yeah. You still had Aaron Rodgers there, didn't you? So, I mean, I respect Tom.
He may have had the best squad. He may have had the best overall system, the best coach at the time. But it doesn't mean that he was the best individual player at the quarterback position, So, yeah.
Is Preacher taking a stab at Tom Brady again? Preacher is doing that again?
Yeah.
So, we got
G-Star. Where are you, G-Star?
So you believe any given Sunday that 49ers are best equipped to win this time around? Like the teams are equal defensively and they have more weapons. going forward, and you don't think there's any distinguishing thing from the Kansas City Chiefs that you'd say, you know what, this could give them the edge? Is it Andy Reid? Is it the Andy Reid factor? It is just a Patrick Mahomes going lights out and Kelsey having, you know, a game of the season. Would any of those things make any difference to your prediction? Are you confident that no matter what they come with, the 49ers have enough offensively and defensively to keep it close and win the game?
All right. First of all, right, I think the best thing going in the Chiefs' favor is Andy Reid getting an extra week of preparation. He has a phenomenal record coming off the bye, right? So I'm not discounting Andy Reid, okay? I actually think that Andy Reid is closer to being a GOAT than Patrick Mahomes is.
Hold on, right there. Any given Sunday. Can I ask you a question about Andy?
Sure, go ahead, man.
All right. We all know Andy is great when it comes to scripting the first 15 players coming off a bye, right? I have no doubt that he'll be good again. Here's my concern about Andy. If the Chiefs get bogged down offensively in the second half like they did against the Bengals the year they lost, will Andy be stubborn or will he be willing to adjust his game plan? That's my problem with Andy in the second half adjustments. I think at times he's a little pig-headed and he wants to do things his own way instead of doing what's right for the team. What do you say?
Well, I think that if you go back to last year's Super Bowl, the Chiefs were trailing against Philly, and Andy Reid obviously made some adjustments. You know, when you talk about formation, play calling, going against tendencies, and what's the Philly defensive coordinator, Gannon. Gannon had no answer for what Andy Reid brought to the table. So I think Andy Reid learned his lesson.
That's a very good point.
And I think Andy learned his lesson. I mean, listen, Andy Reid is a first ballot Hall of Fame coach. He is a great coach.
He wasn't the equivalent
of Belichick on the offensive side.
He wasn't the first ballot Hall of Famer before Mahomes.
He was.
Well, here's what I will say.
He was going to walk into the Hall of Fame.
Here's what I'll say, Garvey.
Is Marty Schottenheimer first ballot Hall of Famer, preacher?
What I will say is this. Let's see how good Patrick Mahomes is when Andy Reid retires in 2 years. Let's evaluate Mahomes then. Remember, the advantage that Brady had was he basically had Belichick the majority of his career, the vast majority of his career. All right? I'm not sure that that's going to be the case for Patrick Mahomes. As a matter of fact, Andy Reid has gone through a lot of personal trials and tribulations over the last few years. It would not surprise me if they win on Sunday. Big Red walks away and say, you know what, I'm done. I have 3 rings. I have nothing left to prove. On to the next guy. And then we can really evaluate Mahomes then.
Andy Reid coached for 16 years in the NFL before he got Patrick Mahomes, right? During those 16 seasons, the 3 quarterbacks that he coached, they were either first or second pick in the draft overall. Donovan McNabb.
Come on, let's not use draft position. That's not as relevant as you think it is.
Hey,
it's not where you draft, it's how you play.
Hey, any given Sunday, did you know that the Eagles lost a Super Bowl by 3 points? A Super Bowl in which Donovan McNabb threw 3 INTs. And if Andy Reid was not so stubborn and was willing to adjust his game plan and let Westbrook be the MVP, the Chiefs, the Eagles would have had a Super Bowl ring.
I'm not so sure about that.
I think that's an unfair.
First of all, let's do a quick history lesson here.
Yeah, Terrell Owens.
Even though it was a 3-point win for the Patriots, right? There was a late score that made it 3 points. The Patriots were actually up by 10. At no point in that game where the Patriots were not in control. They were in control of that game.
But guess what? Eagles were moving the ball good. McNabb just kept turning it up. Remember the man puked in the huddle.
Well, remember also that Terrell Owens was injured prior to the Super Bowl. And
how did he do in the Super Bowl?
He balled out. He came in.
He was magnificent in the Super Bowl.
And he balled out, right?
And who do you think was the biggest reason why the Eagles lost that Super Bowl?
The turnover was obviously affected them.
All right. I
The
give that.
turnovers
But
impacted
these
them.
are the facts, Preacher. In 16 seasons without Mahomes, this guy made one Super Bowl.
Yeah, but the
You
thing is,
understand?
all right, before Andy Reid got to Kansas City, that entire that organization was fledgling in terms of their relevance in terms of
PJ, you're being nice. They were the worst team in the league. They were
No.
2-14.
All right,
fair enough. But guess what now? The Chiefs traditionally has always been a good organization. They were good slightly before Andy got there, and then they went into a tank. No, credit to Andy. He did rebuild the team. I'm not knocking him for that. The problem with Andy over the years traditionally has been not it's almost like a Doc Rivers syndrome. That's what Andy used to suffer.
Wow.
yeah, that's rough because Andy Reid.
You agree?
Andy
You don't
Reid-
agree with that, Preacher?
No, well, I wouldn't say Doc Rivers syndrome because Doc Rivers has had teams that were supposed to win and didn't win. Andy Reid.
All right. So when hold on. When Andy lost the NFC Championship game to Sean King, the Tampa Bay quarterback, without Brad Johnson. Remember, Tampa Bay didn't even have Brad Johnson in that game. They lost to Sean King. They lost like what, 13-10 or some crap like. No, it was like 9-6.
Yeah, I mean that was
no. When the Buccaneers beat the Eagles, I think it was 20-10 or something like that.
No boss.
They beat them.
When Riedel Anthony had that so-called catch, right? That game was no team put up 20 points in that game.
But Garvey, the thing about it is this. All right. Alex Smith under Andy Reid, the Chiefs won, I think, 4 seasons straight with a winning record and 2 divisional championships with Andy Reid. Correct?
They were loaded. They had a great squad, Preacher.
All right, good. Andy Reid drafted Patrick Mahomes. He drafted
Travis Kelce,
and he drafted number 10 that went to Miami.
Tyreek Hill.
No, he's good at that. No, he's very good at that.
He built that squad. He lost Tyreek Hill, right? And people were saying, "Yo, this thing is not going to work." I mean, Tyreek Hill is gone.
Not me.
And well, to your credit, you said it's going to be fine. But he brought in some players, and he created an offensive system that would facilitate these other players. You never went over the top as much as you did. No 1,000-yard catches that season, right? Your most productive wide receiver was Juju Smith-Schuster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have to look at the coach and give the coaches credit for that. Now, I do agree with you that sometimes Andy Reid's play calling is a little bit questionable, especially in pressure situations. But as Any Given Sunday says, in the last Super Bowl, second half of that game, Andy Reid coached, Eric Bieniemy must be given credit too, right? But Andy Reid...
Why?
Yeah, you got to give him some love, all right?
That got booted in Washington.
Yeah, but that guy, I think that guy is suffering from some either racial issues, racial discrimination, or something is happening that is not right. But anyway, let's get back to talking about the game that's to come.
Let me talk about Dwight, because Dwight have a comment here. I don't know if you saw it. He says there has only been one game all season that Purdy has thrown less than 25 times in a game. Purdy has thrown for 30 plus times in both playoff games so far. The real issue is if the 49ers can get good runs per I think that is attempt rather than Purdy needing to throw 25 plus times in the game.
The point that I was making, man, is
all right, Shatu, you need to call the number, man.
Fair enough. That's a good point. Do I make a good point there, sir? Okay, go ahead, Preacher. Go ahead.
The thing about it is this, and this is how we kind of analyze the thing and not just look at the numbers. So Brock Purdy's passes are usually short passes, right? A 3-yard pass to Debo that becomes a 20-yard pass because of the yards after catch. The point that I was making was about Brock Purdy throwing the ball over 20, 30 yards and having to throw like 20 times down the field in that kind of way. That's not what the San Francisco 49ers want. Okay? Yes. In fact, he threw for 39 attempts, I think, against the Packers and about 32 against the Lions, right? And if
But
you
they were
remember
trailing
those,
in both. They were
they
trailing in
were
both games.
trailing in both of those games. They were trailing. And so it became a situation where they had to be passing even more than they would have wanted to.
Yeah,
What
if they
is
were
true,
ahead, you wouldn't throw so much.
if they were leading, Christian McCaffrey would be running that football and they would be handing it off to Debo. They would be calling some plays that would allow the backfield to be much more involved than the quarterback. So that's the point I'm making, Shatu. I agree with you. Brock Purdy is not just a game manager, but when you look at it, you really don't want Brock Purdy to be throwing some 20, 30-yard passes to kind of catch up in a game against the Chiefs secondary. That's
Why
probably
not though? I mean, hold on a second. I'm not sure I agree with that.
Mhm.
Because Brock Purdy broke the single season passing record for the 49ers this year. You don't do that throwing dump offs and 3-yard and 5-yard passes. You have to be able to go down the field.
No, we know he can go down the field. We're not,
Right.
I'm not saying he can't go down the field, but I've seen this secondary that Kansas City Chief has, and I know that this secondary has not.
They have not given up any big plays. Just so they haven't given up anything.
Season long. And if you ask me, even though Brock Purdy is not just a game manager, I don't think Brock Purdy is the best at throwing the ball down the field.
All right. I have a question for the group then. Okay, fair enough. They haven't given up any big plays. Can you tell me any receiving core or any team that have the skill position players like what the 49ers have that the Chiefs have played this year?
What Miami have?
Okay. Miami, when both times they played Miami.
Hold on. We didn't
No,
play the Bengals.
Miami has who? Miami have 2 receivers, Waddle and Hill. That's it.
Hold on. We didn't play the Bengals. We didn't play the Bengals.
Yeah, you played.
You mean without Joe Burrow? Without Joe Burrow. Without Joe Burrow. So
yeah, but look at how the Bengals were playing when we played them. They were winning.
Yeah. I hear you, but without Joe Burrow is not the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. I could run. Listen. Did we play the Lions?
And you lost.
Okay, hold on. We lost, right? We gave up 21 points. Hold on.
First game of the season.
Hold on. We gave up 21 points, 7 of which was a pick 6 that came off the hands of Kadarius Toney. We gave up 14 points to that Lions team.
Right. Okay.
And that's one of the best offenses in the NFL. They have quality wide receivers all over the board. Jameson Williams, Amron.
All right. So you think that the Lions skill position are up there with San Francisco?
Yeah.
On the wide receiver, yeah, I think so. With the wide receiver,
I think so. Wide receiver position, yeah.
I like Amon-Ra. I think the other guys are decent. And I like the tight end Laporta.
The tight end Laporta. Look at Laporta. He's like an all-pro this year, man.
Yeah. Right.
And then listen, remember, they have a double-headed monster in the backfield, with Montgomery and Gibbs,
Yeah.
Well, you need okay, put it this way. When you have CMC, you don't need another running back. Okay, you don't. So you have Kittle, Ayuk, Debo, CMC. Don't forget Jennings, the third receiver as well, right?
Yeah, he's all right. But the thing is, any given Sunday,
yeah.
Debo is not going to kill you going down the field. Debo is not going to be beating.
I don't know about that. I mean,
no.
And then you guys play fantasy football.
And L'Jarius does well against receivers like Debo, because he likes to play it physical. That's his game. That's his jam. He likes to jam receivers at the line of scrimmage.
I don't mean to change the subject, but just one quick second. That NFC Championship game where the Buccaneers beat Philly.
Yeah. The
score was 27-10 Tampa.
No, that's you got the wrong year.
That was the only year Tampa and the Eagles played in the championship game.
How many times did Tampa and Eagles play in the NFC Championship game?
One time.
How many times? All right, give me all of the championship game where Eagles play in an Andy Reid era.
All right.
While I research that, Rob Simmons says, cut the foolishness. Our running back is all pro. Our tight end is all pro. Our wide receiver is all pro. We have the best skill position in the league, and it's not close.
I agree.
And then
We agree with that.
he said Ketu can get down the field.
Yeah, we agree with that. Nobody's saying
Nobody's
that
disputing that.
they can't do that. Rob, the conversation is, do you want Brock Purdy to be throwing the ball 20, 25, 30 times down the field, 20 yards, 30 yards down the field in the Super Bowl? Is that the formula for you winning? I don't think it is the formula for the 49ers winning.
Well, he did say that. He did say that, and he says, "I'm a Niners fan. We want to establish the run. We throw off play action. We don't want Purdy just dropping back and throwing. That's not us." I think he's agreeing.
Yeah, we agree. We are agreeing. We're not disagreeing. Yeah, that's the formula for you winning this thing. You win this thing. And the time of possession is going to be important too. The Niners want to control the clock. You want to manage this game. You want to go up early on the 49ers and limit them and their possessions and keep putting scores on the board. Let CMC go to work, man.
But guys, let me ask you something. You don't think that Steve Spagnuolo knows that the Niners' best chance to win this game is to run it 35 times and have Brock Purdy throw it no more than 25 times?
Of course.
So what do you think he's going to do? Do you think he's going to set his defense in a way that the ball is going to be in Brock Purdy's hands?
You know what I think any given Sunday? I think when you do what you do well, and a team plans to limit what you do well, you should go out there and keep doing what you do well.
Yep.
I think sometimes they're gonna have to run into some 8-man boxes. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You don't want to make the mistake that the Ravens made.
Exactly.
I agree with that. But I'm saying at some point, there's a saying in the NFL, you can't hide your quarterback. All right? There comes a time where it might be
third down.
It might be five or 8 times for the game.
Yeah, and Brock Purdy is gonna have to make some big plays, especially on
he's gonna make some plays.
Right, if it's third and longs.
And if you watch those games this season when they played Dallas and Philly, he was throwing 15, 20-yard passes down the field. It wasn't short yardage. So this whole narrative.
What about against the Ravens and the Browns?
He had bad games. He had some injured players in those games. Yeah, his best players
in the game against Cleveland.
Yeah.
That had a lot to do with the weather as well, because if you noticed against Green Bay, he struggled too, because he can't throw a wet ball. So I mean, Baltimore. Here's what I would say.
I don't think he have to worry about that come next Sunday.
No, he doesn't.
Weather.
But
that's
what I would say is
that a lot of people not looking on this game. You know what? I have the scores, and you're gonna be surprised. I have the scores: 34 Kansas City, 21. San Francisco. I think there will be more points than people anticipate.
I mean, I'm not surprised that you picked the Chiefs, Garvey.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I'm picking both. The thing about it is, in any given Sunday, the Chiefs have not given up more than 25 points all season. I can't see any way San Francisco puts up more than that. But what I'm saying to you is, based on the weather changes that these teams will go through. Remember, they were coming out of ice. Mahomes put up 26 points in frigid conditions, And
then he went to Buffalo. No team. Come on, don't do that.
No, and then he went to Buffalo in the similar frigid conditions and put up 27. And to be honest, they should have put up 34 against the Bills if it was not for that
Miami and Buffalo had zero pass rush. Zero.
Boss, let me ask you a question. How was the San Francisco? Listen, San Francisco played 2 games at home. How did their defense look, boss?
All right. I'm glad you raised that, right? So the Green Bay Packers got hot.
Thank you.
They're coming off a high. They just beat Dallas in Dallas. This is
the Chiefs are not hot?
No, man. I'm making the point. The Green Bay Packers are playing with nothing to lose. The Green Bay Packers are playing with house money. So they go into San Fran and they start the game off well. You have to give San Fran's defense credit for what they were able to do in the second half of that game. in terms of slowing down Green Bay, some turnovers. Yeah, Green Bay missed a field goal that proved costly too. Then they go on to the Lions. The Lions come out and the Lions punch early. You're down going into the second half by 3 scores. You have to give credit to that defense for holding up and giving the offense an opportunity to get back in the game.
But I give more credit to the MVP, Dan Campbell, that year.
Fair. But let's talk about Chiefs now. The Chiefs defense has not had a bad game in this. They've not had a bad quarter.
In the last 34 games, listen to this stat, Preacher. In the last 34 games, the Chiefs have given up 30 points one time, and that was in the Super Bowl to the Eagles.
So I'm getting to the point now, Gavi. If the Chiefs defense so happens to have a bad game in the Super Bowl,
it's a wrap.
Right? That's it.
It's a wrap.
Is it? There's no coming back. The 49ers have had their bad games. They've had their bad games. They've had their games.
So, Preacher, you're telling me that the only way that the Chiefs can win the Super Bowl is by limiting the 49ers? You're telling me, hold on. Yeah. Are you, Preacher, saying on national TV that if the Chiefs give up 28 points, they cannot win?
My benchmark is 24. I think if the Chiefs give up 24 points, they lose this game. They're losing this game. The offense has scored 27 and 27 and 26 in the playoffs. They scored 26 against against a Miami team that had no defense.
Which defense you think is better? This Niners defense or the Eagles defense in the Super Bowl last year?
The Eagles defense was better because they were getting to the quarterback more.
And how much Mahomes put up on them again in only he had the ball for like 25 minutes. How much he put up again?
What was the score at the end of the game?
38.
All right, you got 7 points. You got 7 points from your defense, right?
Hold on a sec there, Preacher. Gunners boss. You have to mute.
Hello.
You have to mute the sound in the background. You're typing foolishness. What is your foolishness? This is Gunners boss.
But I know man, me listen to show, I address nothing. Preacher, big up yourself. Big up yourself. Sunday. Bless up. Me not participate in this show because I'm not depend that. Yes, sir.
All right.
One thing I tell you, say, no individual player no win no championship and no titles in the NFL. Okay, how great them is. It's coaches and 53 players win championship on a team. So
I agree.
On the radio, I come worship no one individual. This is not a man worship show. We come here to talk NFL and break down Super Bowl. Kind of angle. One man name a call too much and him no win nothing. It's Andy Reid. Develop the team, coach the team, draft the players and put the team together. We no matter when we win at Philadelphia or when never win no way. He's a winning franchise. That's all I ever say.
All right.
Not the one guy.
All right.
I'm listening.
All right, go
and
ahead.
I will call back anytime I hear the foolishness. People no call in for the show.
All right, go ahead.
I wait viewers there. Like up the video and call in for the show.
All right, go ahead, boss.
Yeah. So Shatu has another statement on the chat, man. But I just want to quick Shatu, I feel like you purposely try to be difficult tonight. To be honest, I feel like you really just want poke. Because we're having a conversation and all you're interested in is making a point about Purdy throwing the ball 25 times. And I've already
I think because you said that. Shatu, you need to call in.
Which team Shatu support again?
He's a 49ers fan.
Isn't he a Bronco fan, man?
Well, he's a Bronco fan that has a kind of soft spot for the 49ers, if my memory serves me well. Believes that Kyle Shanahan is going to fumble in the Super Bowl and the Chiefs are going to win. I hope I'm right. I hope I'm not misrepresenting Chatu. Yeah, but Chatu, you do have quarterbacks and teams that have thrown the ball long down the field. Yes, 25 times in big games and lost them. I have seen it. I have seen quarterbacks done that. So I'm not sure why you're saying nobody does that. The point that I was trying to make was you don't want your quarterback to be chasing a game and have him to be throwing the ball long if you're the 49ers. That's the point. Can we move on?
All right. Can I jump in here?
Yeah, go ahead every given Sunday.
All right. I'm looking at some some advanced stats that tells you about average depth per target, meaning how far down the field the quarterback throws the ball. We're not talking about run after the catch, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So in the league, right? Brock Purdy, when it comes to total yards, he is number 6. All right. I believe he's number 6. All right. Now, in terms of passing yards in the air, yeah, he is number 6 for passing yards in air. His average attempt with air yards leads the NFL at 5.5, right? He also has
5.5
in the air, right,
yards per pass.
per pass, right?
Yeah.
So but he has the least pass attempts. He has 444 pass attempts.
Yeah, man. And
So
there's a reason.
Right.
There's a reason for that. You know that.
Right. I know. I'm making my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. San Francisco is a run first team. I'm right there with you. But here is some statistics that you'll find interesting. So when the ball travels 10 plus yards or more, he has 167 of those attempts, right? Which is amongst the tops in the league. As a matter of fact, he has more. Let me just say this: more than Patrick Mahomes when it comes to throwing the ball that distance. When it is 20 plus yards, he has 72 times to Patrick Mahomes' 50. When it comes to throwing the ball 30 plus yards in the air, he has 31 attempts. Patrick Mahomes has 21. When it comes to throwing the ball 40 plus yards in the air, he has 18. Patrick Mahomes has 8, right? 50 yards or more, 4 to Patrick Mahomes, 3. So the whole narrative that you don't want him throwing the ball down the field is false. Also, in terms of overall yards in the air on average, right? If you take if you take all of it together, right? So yards per attempt, not in the air. He has the highest yards per attempt in the league at 9.6. So what that means is, even though he does not throw the ball as much, when he does, because of the whole run game setup, it is highly effective.
Good.
So I just thought I'd put that in there.
No, man. And everything you're saying is right. At the top of the show, I said this. Since 2006, 2007, Brock Purdy has the highest QBR rating for quarterbacks throwing the ball 20 plus yards down the field, right?
Right.
And that's at a minimum of about 400 passes, right? Mm-hmm. So there's no question that Brock Purdy can throw the football if he has to throw the football. Nobody can debate that, right? The issue is the formula for success against a Kansas City Chiefs cannot be, in my opinion, Brock Purdy having to throw the ball 25 plus times, or let's follow in Chatou's logic, 15 times, 20, 30 yards down the field. It means that in that game, you would be either chasing the game, right? Or you have not established the run sufficiently, right? So you're now having to revert to the pass.
Hold on a second. It depends. I mean, you can take what is called chunk plays. Mm-hmm. If you are running the ball effectively and you're forcing the Chiefs now to play the run and leave them vulnerable for the deep pass, then why wouldn't you throw it? Why wouldn't you throw it down the field? If Tickler's across the middle or D-Boy's across the middle, why wouldn't you do it?
So San Francisco is going to require the run to be established effectively so that play action becomes Purdy's option where he can actually make those passes and be successful. Yes.
I agree.
Right. Where the problem is going to face San Francisco now is this. If Purdy finds himself in a situation where he's trailing by 17 against a Kansas City Chiefs team, just like against a Lions team, a Chiefs team that can also put up points on the board, and he finds himself having to throw the football constantly, I don't know that Brock Purdy, in his present, experience.
But in that scenario, based on what you have seen from the Chiefs overall, let's flip this script. If the Chiefs are down 17, you think that they can throw the ball down the field, just drop back, no threat to the running game, and come back against the 49ers? This version of the Chiefs?
I think if the Chiefs are down 17, they stand a better chance of coming back than if this.
I'm not sure about that.
I do, and I tell you why I think that they're because with Patrick Mahomes, it's not just him throwing the ball. It's Patrick Mahomes making the best decisions in the situation.
Using his legs as well.
If he has to use his legs to get that, he's going to do it. Patrick Mahomes is a generational talent. Hearing that from Preacher,
he's all right.
Hearing that from Preacher is no. He's not okay. He's not all right. He's the best.
He's okay.
He's the best thing we have seen in a long time.
Yeah, he said he's okay.
He's okay.
He's that good, and I believe the Chiefs down 17. I have the 49ers winning. But I believe the Chiefs
any given Sunday
because they have been there and done that. They can get back in the game.
All right, go ahead.
Any given Sunday. Let me tell you an underrated aspect of this game that you haven't mentioned all day long.
All right.
You see the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
One thing you can always count on the Ravens to beat in the NFL every year is the biggest, baddest, toughest team in the NFL. You agree with that, don't you?
They were the bullies of the league, definitely. I agree.
That culture has been there since Ray Lewis days, and it still remains in Baltimore. That team is always going to be built around physicality. You know what I saw in the AFC Championship game?
What's that?
I saw KC go in there. In pre-game, Patrick Mahomes beat up the kicker, and for the rest of the game, the Chiefs.
Ooh, the kicker. Ooh. What he weighs, like 150 pounds?
Listen what I'm telling you.
I think we could beat up the kicker too.
Yeah, true. But guess what happened in the game? The Chiefs actually beat up the Ravens, man. Physically, they beat them up.
I don't disagree. I think that's a below the radar observation. And I'm surprised that more people haven't talked about it.
You know what they did to Miami? They beat them up too. You know what they did to the Bills? They beat them up too. They have won the physical battle in every game they have played, man.
The weather kind of did that to Miami. I think after the first quarter, Miami.
If you want to say,
hey Preacher, listen, Preacher. I remember the running back. What's his name? A-Chain. I remember early in that game, right? I was watching the game and I was on a chat with G-Star, and they tossed a play to him right, a running play right, and I forget who it was came and they put a lick on him, and he immediately got up, he ran to the sideline. And he stood beside the coach side a little wimp. And I said, G-Star, he just quit. And he did not come back in the game again, man. The Chiefs played like it was 90 degrees outside. And the Dolphins played like they were inside of a refrigerator.
Let's go back to a game with the Ravens and the 49ers for a second, right? The Ravens defense.
They beat up the 49ers too.
Physicality. They were pushing that D-line back. They were getting to Brock Purdy enough. They were throwing him off. I mean, we know about the 4 interceptions, right? We're not going to talk a lot about that. But that probably is a template of what Spagnuolo is going to be doing with his defense. We know Spagnuolo. He's going to bring the blitz. He's going to be bringing the blitz. He's going to be bringing pressure.
And let me ask you this question, Preacher, not to cut you off. Who you think has a better D-line, the Ravens or the Chiefs?
Boy, it's close. I would give the Chiefs. I would give the Chiefs the edge because
the Chiefs were second in blitz, and the Ravens in sacks, and the Ravens were first. The Ravens are first in the league in blitz. The Chiefs get sacks without blitzing, bro.
Yeah, I'd give the Chiefs some edge there. I think the Chiefs' weakness on that D line is in the belly of it. You can run up that belly.
Fair enough.
You can run up the gut of that Chiefs team, and that's why Chateau and others. That's why I am saying the key to the game is not in the arms of Brock Purdy. The key to the game is going to be in San Fran's ability to get CMC going, and in those short passes, it is in those Deebo Samuel's yard after the pass, breaking down the defense, those screen plays when the blitz is coming. If you can get those things done, you win this game. You win.
So, Preacher, you're giving him no shot at the MVP then, even if the Niners win.
Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
You know, there's a bias towards the quarterback. And if Brock Purdy throws for 190 yards, has two touchdowns, and they win, and Christian McCaffrey runs for 100 yards, Brock Purdy is going to get the MVP. Yeah, and it's going to be more sexy to give Brock Purdy the MVP. It's a story that everybody wants to write. Last player in the draft, second year in the league, MVP of the Super Bowl. Come on.
Tom Brady 2.0.
Yeah, Tom Brady 2.0.
It's not that rubbish. It's not that rubbish any given Sunday.
But here's what I mean. I have a under the radar pick for MVP. If the 49ers win, I think one of the key players for them is going to be Nick Bosa.
I was just about to say Nick Bosa.
Because Nick Bosa is going up against the weakness of the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line.
The left tackle?
No, the right tackle. His name is what's his name? Number 74.
But that's where you're wrong. Jawan don't give up sacks, bro.
Hold on. But he's one of the most penalized players in the game. And I think that
not in the playoffs.
And I think that when he goes up against an absolute alien of a pass rusher in Nick Bosa, it's going to be a completely different deal.
You're talking about Nick Bosa. Hold on, whoa. You know how many sacks Nick Bosa had this season, bro?
I know that Nick Bosa. Well, hold on a second. You can't use a regular season to discredit Nick Bosa and then exclude the regular season when we're talking about Taylor. So we have to keep it on a level. So what I'm saying is this. Nick Bosa is a better player than anybody that this guy has.
But Taylor, even in the regular season, he was not giving up a lot of sacks and pressures. His problem was just penalties.
Right. And all I'm saying is, but I think Nick Bosa can cause enough havoc. In that first Super Bowl 4 years ago, if San Fran had won that game, Nick Bosa would have been the MVP. He was living in KC's backfield. And the Kansas City offensive line was better then. I'm saying
No.
I think that hold on, let me finish. I think that Bosa can have one of those games where he could. I'm not saying he will. Notice what I said. I qualified it. I said that this is a below the radar pick because everybody's looking at the sexy offensive players, right? But I think that if anybody from a defense on San Francisco could do it, I think it's Nick Bosa. I don't think the 49ers secondary is as strong as it has been in years past. I think it's adequate. I think if their pass rush comes to play, especially one Mr. Nick Bosa, that's going to be a problem for Kansas City.
You know, because I'm not worried about thinking this game. I'm more worried about the other guy, the wild card, Chase Young. I don't know.
Chase Young is, listen, okay, let me tell you something, Garvey. I'm going to tell you something, all right? Chase Young is a lot of hype, okay? I'm a Washington guy.
Agreed. I agree.
Hold on, let me finish. If the 49ers had gotten Montez Sweat, who went to Chicago, I would guarantee you San Francisco win this game because Montez Sweat is a much better football player than Chase Young. It's not even close.
Let me ask you this though, any given Sunday, because I think you're going too over the top of it. Do you think from 2020 to now, Nick Bosa is anywhere close to the player that he was in the last Super Bowl boss?
Well, seeing that he was Defensive Player of the Year last year, I'd have to say yes.
Nah, man.
Because maybe, okay, here's the thing. When a player has the type of year that Bosa had, I think he had, 19 sacks, almost 20, something like that?
Sacks are overrated, man.
No, they're not. Sacks are appropriately rated. The thing is, when Bosa has a season like that, what do you think the opposing teams do the very next year? They circle number 97 and say, this guy not going to beat us. So he's getting double teamed.
Nick Bosa been circled since he's been in the league. Nick Bosa was a top 5 pick, man.
I understand that. But he wasn't as doubled as he is now. That's a fact.
But
in the last Super Bowl, he was their main pass rusher too. Kansas City had to account for him on every play.
And that's one of the things about Patrick Mahomes and how he plays the game that I think sets him apart right now. So you have these great edge rushers, right? But Patrick Mahomes, as I said, he's going to use his legs when he needs to. And he's going to make the best decision with the football to give himself a little more time and to give his team the best chance of getting a down or getting a penalty. And so even with Chase Young and Nick Bosa and them, and I agree, them getting to Patrick Mahomes, them getting to the quarterback is going to be big.
Let me read this comment from Dwight. Dwight says, once the Niners can avoid turnovers, limit the Chiefs' run game, prevent quick scores from the Chiefs, and keep the red button away from Kyle, they will win. That is a lot of things, Dwight.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that they have to do and get right. Right? But if I were to kind of assess the game in its totality, I'm going with San Francisco, by the way, Garvey. And this is no hate on the Chiefs.
This is poor Dixie in the well now in a preacher. That bucket the bottom, they must drop out.
It must drop out. No, I tell you why I'm going with the 49ers this time around. I think Shanahan is due. I think they have played 2 games against the Packers and against the Lions that they would have learned a lot about themselves in terms of the mistakes that they made, how poorly they would have played early in those games. And I don't think they're going to make the same mistake going into the Super Bowl. They have had two poor halves of football against those teams. I think San Francisco is going to come out and play a more complete game of football. I think one of the weaknesses that the Chiefs has had all season is the running game of teams that actually go straight up the middle. And I think the blocking of San Francisco is going to allow them to do that. And
Agreed.
I do think Brock Purdy is going to have a good game. I don't want to see him throwing as much because I don't want an interception to get to him in that game and throw him off, right? But I think he's going to be good. And I do think that there will be opportunities for him to use his legs when the defense breaks down. And once he does that, 49ers are going to win this game. I'm seeing it 24-21.
Any given Sunday, you just gave a sneaky defensive MVP for Niners. I'm going to give you one for the Chiefs.
Oh, Chris Jones?
No. Trent McDuffie. Because let me tell you why. In his career, I think he's only picked off one pass, and it was in the I think it was in the playoff last year. That's his only interception of his career. But by all measure, he's a top 5 cornerback in the league, right? So,
who doesn't take away the ball? Okay, all right.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, but Pro Football Focus has him as the 4th graded cornerback in the league. Nobody gets completions against him, bro. He's tough, and he defends the running game like he's a safety.
Hey, Garvey, so, the very fact that you check in with Pro Football Focus, I just let you know your ratings just went through the roof. Yeah.
Okay. So
just letting you know.
Let me say this to you any given Sunday. I think the fact that the 49ers might be a little bit scared of Snead because Snead has built up a real good reputation this season, right? I think they might be targeting McDuffie come Sunday, and I think if the Chiefs go their way, he might have a big game. A couple of interceptions could get him this MVP, bro.
All right, gentlemen, we have just a few minutes to go, so I'm going to just go around the board and then give you just time to give your final wrap, make your prediction, your score, and then your final word. So let's go with any given Sunday, and so just tell us team you're picking to win, final score, and your final thoughts as we kind of bring the wrap on this one. We haven't so many things we didn't cover because we're supposed to talk about the trade deadline in the NBA and all of that, but we wanted to focus predominantly on the Super Bowl, and then hopefully we can do a watch along to it and discuss the game as it is played. But any given Sunday, what is your score prediction? Who is your winner? And what is your final word on the matter?
All right. I'm going with San Francisco. I think they have been knocking on the door. I think they are, consistently one of the best teams in the league. I think overall they're a better team than Kansas City. Final score for me, San Francisco 26, and I'm going to go Kansas City 23. I think this game is going to be a close game. Like I said, no more than a field goal, as I said from before. I think the Niners are the more complete team. I think at some point, just the talent that they have on the offensive side of the ball, the skill position, Kyle Shanahan scheming it up, Brock Purdy executing. And I think Christian McCaffrey more than likely will be the Super Bowl MVP. So I'm gonna go San Fran by a field goal.
All right. San Fran 1, Kansas City 0. Garvey.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of what any given Sunday said was correct. The Niners do have the better squad in terms of the better overall talent, top to bottom, no doubt about it. I can't sit here and argue with that. I think they had like 9 All-Pros on their team this year. So that's, and I think KC had 1. So I mean, there's no competition there. However, the NFL, as we all know, is marketed around 2 things: head coaching and quarterback. And I think in these 2 very, very important spots, Kansas City has the advantage. And also, they have the advantage of being defending champions and knowing what it takes to win. So I think a lot of people have been down on the Chiefs passing game and Mahomes is having a down season. I think this is the game where he will finally break out in the passing game the right way, in the good, nice, warm weather in Las Vegas with Taylor Swift in the house. I mean, how can you invite Taylor to the party and then lose? You can't do that, right? So Chiefs 31, 34, Niners 21. Mahomes is the MVP, his 3rd MVP, on his way to the top of Goat Mountain.
Right.
Surprise, surprise.
Goat Mountain. What is Goat Island? I know it as what preachers say Goat Mountain. So big garbage Goat Mountain.
Nick Wright calls it Mahomes Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick Wright's mountains are not credible. But anyway, the last time these 2 teams met in the Super Bowl, the 49ers were a Jimmy Garoppolo pass to Emmanuel Sanders away from winning it. Jimmy G is more of a game manager than Brock Purdy is. And so I think this time around, the 49ers are in a better position at the quarterback position, and they have the better overall squad. I have them winning 24-21. I think the running game is going to be a problem for the Chiefs defense. And I think the fact that Kyle Shanahan has been there before and he has had the taste of defeat before, and they've had their 2 bad games early against Green Bay and against the Lions, San Francisco are going to get it right. And I can see them winning this one. Mahomes and co, the legacy will continue next season, but this time is going to be this time.
All right. So for me, right, so it is 2-1. San Fran. So here's where I go now, right? So I think so Patrick Mahomes and his gang, one loss, 1 win, then a loss, then a win. So you don't want to believe. I think this time though, I'm feeling like this time it's going to change. That you're going to get 2 wins out in a row. Okay. I just feel like it's going to be like 25-27. And I think it's going to be, I just feel like that last play that Purdy is going to have to go long and he's going to make an error. I think the pressure in the big moment is what is going to cause him. I don't know, but I think even the toss is so important because I feel like that if it comes down to them needing a pass down the field, to tie, to win the game or something, or to get yards or a field goal, he's going to crumble under the pressure. And I believe that Mahomes has that confidence in his team having been there. So I'm just going to go with them. I think they're going to be short on the yards. He's not going to get it. They're going to miss the field goal. That would make them win by 1. They're going to end up missing just a Super Bowl by 2 points. So I think that's a good way to end it. 2-2. So
and then Travis and Taylor can get married and have babies, and we live happily ever after.
Whatever.
Well, listen, great show. We're gonna try and do something on Sunday. I don't know how. I know, NFL is not like football, regular football, because when football is going on, we do watch-alongs. NFL is kind of a little different because of all the commercials and all the breaks and the entertainment. It makes the game so long. So an NFL stream could run you 2 times a football, a regular football stream. So let's see how it goes. But thanks to you guys. Really appreciate you coming on, preacher. Garvey, blessings every time.
Big up,
Any given Sunday, respect. You understand? The people don't see it.
Preacher.
It's
All
a
right,
Garvey
man.
self-composed, The people them say Garvey.
Big up yourself, Garvey.
But it's the Garvey keep himself composed. So bless up Garvey. Thanks to all the persons in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining the show, for being a part of the show. It has been a very good one. Tomorrow, when we do our show in the morning, we will go through the other information in terms of the reggae girls, and talking about just female football. The fact that there's a school girl competition starting and nothing has been said. We're going to talk to you about the new stats software that the Jamaica Premier League has, that you can check out player stats and all of that. We're going to try to get Owen Hill. We're going to try to get Mr. Dennis Strong on. So all of that is being lined up for our show on Super Friday tomorrow morning. All right. So I am Man. This has been I Am Sure Sports. As usual, we ask you, this is what we do right where I Am Sure Sports, not I Am Sure Football. So if you're watching this one, just spread the content, hit the like button, please subscribe and share. I am Man. This has been I Am Sure Sports, and as usual, when we get to the end of our programs, we say we are over and we are out of here.
Yo, watch about dog, SK New Erdis, the body out there, Sniper King I represent for I Am Sure Sports. You get to me, I say, when you want the latest news and sports and updates and all of that, check out I Am Sure Sports. You know the thing goes in. Remember, cover the whole island. Remember Kingston, Westmoreland, Galchester, Ocho-Race, Galtigo Bay, everywhere. I Am Sure Sports, check it out for the latest news and latest updates. Sniper King I represent. Where them feel like? Yeah. Someone on for the food from we young, from we day, you need height. I Am Sure Sports. Yeah, dog.